All right, guys. Remember, this week we are looping back to fiction, and we're going to do this with mystery this week and next week. We do have a reading CBA on Friday, and there will be a nonfiction passage with some questions, and there will also be a mystery fiction story with some questions. So just make sure that you come to all of your scheduled small groups and whole group sessions this week, because we will be doing a lot of reviewing, especially with fiction. Um, just to refresh your memory of things that we've talked about. So, one of the big things with fiction that we always talk about is our plot or our sequence of events and how a fiction book goes. Well, a mystery story, even though it's fiction, also will follow the same as what we've talked about previously. So, in your beginning, it'll introduce your characters and your problem, and then some events will happen that helps us try and solve that problem or lead up to like this big exciting moment, which is your climax. And then after that big exciting moment, then we really start finishing on closing in on solving that problem or dealing with the problem. And then at the end, we have that resolution, which is we're dealing with the problem, or solution, which is solving that problem. And I will say for most mysteries, it's going to be clear that we're solving some sort of problem. So this week we will model this in The Absent Author, and then you will practice in a passage called Doodlebug and Dandelion. Okay. Um, some other things we've talked about in fiction is author's purpose. Our author always tends to write to persuade, inform, and entertain. And we talked about in nonfiction how usually it was to inform us or teach us about something. Um, or to persuade. So our fiction is typically to entertain us, but how? And then last but not least, we'll also be talking about summarizing again. So remember the structure somebody wanted, but so then, and we practice this a lot in, Salt in His Shoes, Enemy Pie, a lot of different books that we used at the beginning of the year. We practiced this for summary. A few other things that we'll talk about for fiction are going to be context clues, like we usually talk about in every unit, solving those tricky words. We'll also talk about characters and different ways to describe our characters, those traits and feelings, like we did at the beginning of the year with fiction. We will also talk about. Putting events in order, which is that plot again, and character relationships. So, how do these two characters interact with each other? What does that show you? Okay. Um, Along with some details from the story and theme, which is usually what our character learns. What did the author want to teach us using this story? Okay, so we have a lot to cover this week. It's super important that you come to those live sessions because we'll be doing this. I'll be modeling it with the read aloud, and then you will practice it in your own passage. But if you do it live with me, I'll be there to answer any questions you might have. Okay. See you in small group. Have a great day.